many of our friends in the community. One such organization, Feeding Tampa Bay. And of course, we've talked during the holiday season, but of course, after the holiday season as well, the need is still out there to help those to make sure that everybody has food, everybody has a meal. Let's go ahead, bring in CEO and president of Feeding Tampa Bay, Thomas Mance. Thomas, how are you?
I'm doing okay. It's really nice to see you, Natalie. How are you doing? How's your holiday season?
Things are going well. Thank you so much for asking. And, I want to go ahead and start things off with kind of a conversation that we've had here on the show. And I want to learn more about this. We think of Feeding Tampa Bay here, but also you hear about Feeding America. Let's talk about the two, how they work together. What is the difference? Kind of give us a little education before we dive in and look at Tampa Bay as a whole.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I think, folks do ask us that question. And is Feeding Tampa Bay, we're the local provider of food relief, but we belong to a network actually of Feeding Florida, right? So all the food banks in Florida work collectively. And then we belong to the network of 200 Feeding America food banks across the United States. So there's actually 200 of us that do what we do. We take care of a 10-county area here in West Central Florida. But there's a food bank in Orlando or New York City or Las Vegas. Oftentimes they have different names, but we're all part of a collective that works together to make sure that we can be most effective across our community, across our state, and across our country. And that means we share best practices. Oftentimes, and you see this more and more, we also share funds. So you may recall when Mr. Bezos gave $100 million to Feeding America. We'd like your viewers to know that some of those funds came straight here to Tampa Bay and made sure that they supported our local community as well.
Oh, that is fabulous to hear. I'm glad you shared that because it seems like the benefits are endless. I know you were able just to give a few, but how it is such a bigger organization and you can help those areas that may really be in need.
Yeah, and I think, we work hard because if you look at the 10 counties we cover, there's very different population bases. We often tend to think of Tampa or St. Pete, but we have folks in urban and rural areas, and everybody is a little bit different. And what we try and make sure that we do is use all of our resources to take care of folks each way, kind of meet them where they are. I think one of the things that we know about food, how we get food, everybody has a different practice. And how they go about connecting with food. And so we try and make sure we meet folks where they are. I think, in this holiday season, we tend to think about food a lot, and it's important because it's such a binding element with family, friends, and those we love. But I think also, now, just past the holidays, we also see a tremendous need still.
So, Thomas, let's break it down. You've been able to be with us, several times through the last 9-10 months of the pandemic. And we've talked about the increase that you're seeing. And then holiday season, it's always first and foremost giving to others. It's such an important message we all need to remember. Where do things stand? How are things in the food banks and helping the public?
Well, Natalie, we've had great support. We have had folks step into our world that have been incredibly generous and thoughtful and helpful. But we also still have a problem of staggering proportions. I mean, if you just sit for 5 minutes and think about our community and how many people are back to work or not, how many hotels are open or restaurants are open, and all of those challenges that our community has, how many folks are coming to stay here in Tampa Bay, where all of our workforce generally tended to concentrate in those areas, folks are still struggling. And not only do they have an income problem, but they have a problem over the next 6 months still. Because it's going to take a while for families to recover. People don't put their lives back together quickly. And so we have some challenges ahead of us that are pretty significant.
What message do you have about the importance of still keeping Feeding Tampa Bay and those who may be in need in the forefront? Because while situations for some have changed, many still are faced with the same situation, and that's food insecurity.
Yeah, I think one of the things that everybody really struggles with is they get tired of a crisis, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for a long time, and we've been at it for 10 months, and it can get tiring. But here's the thing. Everybody knows someone affected by COVID. And if you've been one of the ones affected by COVID, you want someone to step in and help you. All of us need a helping hand. All of us need someone to come alongside us. Sometimes the fight and the struggle happen fast, and sometimes it takes longer. But what's important is that we remain committed to those we love, care about. Tampa Bay is a great community. We want to make sure we look after each other, and we need folks to help us look after each other.
And I know I sound like a broken record sometimes, but really out of all the places I've lived, Tampa Bay is one of the most giving and most philanthropic. And so let's just continue that into 2021. And let's continue checking in with you. Okay, Thomas?
Thank you to both of you, Natalie. We are so grateful for the opportunity to have this conversation, and we wish you and all your viewers a fantastic 2021.
Thank you, and same to you.